Prince Ali, fabulous he, Ali Ababa. Hello fellow bookners, this is Gabby and it's the first day of the 1000 Doors Readathon. So if you don't know, 1000 Doors Readathon is a readathon organized by Megan and Emma and Tamsin. I'm gonna link all of the information down below, but basically this is make your own adventure readathon. You go through one of the 3 doors, which is one of the host's door, and behind that door you get a prompt, and this prompt will then lead you on to different prompts. So for example, if you read your first book and you feel like it was 5 stars, you go through the door that is 5 stars, or if you DNF'd, you go to the DNF door and then you get a whole new prompt. So the first prompt premiered last night, 12 AM. I stayed up because normally I sleep by like 11. But I stayed up to watch the prompt because I was just so excited. I have books I really wanted to read for this readathon, so I was hoping that it fit. So we have the first prompt and it's already proving to be weird. So I watched Meg's videos first and her prompt was, well, her prompts are all gonna be about memes, and the first prompt was this meme. That's history. I watched the other video and the prompt, Emma's prompt, was 5. I could read 5th season, but then I'll explain it to you why I can't. Anyway, so. And then Tamsin's prompt was something like Breaking Bad, and I don't really like reading about drugs, so it was like... But then I thought about it a little bit more and I decided to go with Meg's prompt. And the good thing about this is that it's so open to interpretation, so you can basically kind of take it as you want it kind of thing. So she said it could be either a historical fiction or it could be just a book that was like a historical moment in the genre, something like that. I don't read historical fiction that much. And then I was thinking, what's more OG history than myths? I just feel like myths are the beginning of history, you know, it's the oral history we had way back when. So that's when I was like, I can fit Star Daughter into this. How perfect is this? But the only thing is, I am going away from the house that I'm in right now on Wednesday. I can't really take that many books. I mean, I already don't have space in my suitcase, so we're not gonna be taking books. I have an interview on Tuesday, so we're not gonna be reading till Tuesday. There's no way in hell I can read a over 400 page book in like a day, like half a day. So we're not gonna be doing that. So I decided that instead of that, we're still gonna go with the mythology theme. So I'm gonna be reading City of Brass by S.A. Chakrabarty. City of Brass is the first in a series talking about like genies and stuff. So if I'm not mistaken, in this world there's a girl and she kind of releases a genie, and the genie takes her to this world, to the city where all the genies live, and she's like half genie, something like that. I am going to provide you with a full synopsis as per usual once I actually get into the book, but I'm so excited and I'm just like dying to get into the book so I can get the next prompt. I'm just so excited. All of these probably are going to be Kindle books, but you know what? I bought so many Kindle books that this is a very good thing. So I am so excited for this. So City of Brass is rooted in Islamic mythology, and I know that City of Brass is present in the 1001 Arabian Nights stories, and I think this book was so well received and so well loved that it's just history. I think it's gonna be epic. I think it's gonna be 5 stars, but I don't want to jinx myself. So it's been a couple days and I realized I never really told you, but I wanted to finish this whole readathon in like 10 days. I wanted to finish my vlog and make it one of my 2 monthly vlogs and like move on with my life. But we're 5 days in and I'm 56% through City of Brass. So I am thinking it might not happen. We're gonna be trying, we're gonna keep going at it. I am really loving City of Brass. That's not the issue. I was just so busy. I had an interview, I got a job. Yeah, it's just been a very busy time. Yeah, let's discuss the book then. So the book is kind of set in the real world, I guess. It's set in Cairo, at least the first a little bit of it. And in Cairo lives our main character, whose name's Nahrid. I think that's how you say it. She's a thief. She survives through being a thief, a bit of a con artist. I mean, she pretends to heal. Well, she has some healing powers, but she definitely swindles people a little bit on that, and she pretends to know how to tell like fortunes. And one day she is doing this ritual to kind of expel a demon from a little child, and she knows there's no demon, like she doesn't believe in that kind of thing, there's no demons, so she thinks, oh, just a bit of harmless fun. And she starts chanting in a language that she's known since her birth. She believes that it's the language her parents spoke, although she's never met her parents, and she sings the song and ends up getting a little bit more than she bargained for. She has summoned a genie, kind of a genie, and also like some evil ifrit creature that starts attacking her, and then the genie saves her. And the genie tells her that she is half jinn herself, and she comes from like a very old line of healers actually, and the only way she can be saved is if she goes to the genie city, which is called Davabad. So that's our main character. And then we have Prince Alice, lives in Davabad, and his father is the ruler of the city. And it's a bit complicated, but basically there's kind of two different types of jinns. So there's jinns, and then, well, there's more than two types, but one of the tribes of genies don't call themselves genies, they're called Deva, and then the rest are genies. And basically there's always been like, there's been a huge war between these two like factions, and the genie faction won, but the Deva still have a lot of power, and the half jinn children are really subjugated, and they're believed to be a bit like way less than anything. And Priest Ali believes that they deserve like human rights, or like genie rights, I guess, and he kind of fights for them, but he can't do it too openly because that's not his fighter politics, and this is quite a ruthless world. If this synopsis didn't really tell you, this book has definitely a complicated world and a really complex plot. There was a lot of happening in at the beginning when we're following Ali's perspective. We get to see that Davabad, which is the genie city, and I feel like I was a little bit lost. I kind of didn't understand what happened, what the politics were. I was really confused, but then immediately after it was explained really well, and now I really feel like I have a good grasp. I didn't want to tell you everything that happens so you can find out something for yourself, but definitely eventually they explained the history and all of that quite well, so that I had a very good understanding of where we're coming from, what the world is. I mean, it's really important that you understand the world in order to understand really everyone's motivations and kind of what kind of world Nahid is coming into, because it's very complex. So I really like how this book is kind of set in the real world. It's set in Egypt, well, yeah, in Egypt, in Cairo, and we hear about like French people invading and the war that was happening, and just in general it was really interesting to have that little bit. And then most of it, well, the second half of the book I assume is mainly going to take place in the magical city of Davabad, but definitely the mythology here and the just the complexity of the world is so interesting. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I just love finding out all these little bits. What's really interesting is the characters. So our main character Nahid, she's, like I said, she's half Deva, but she never knew it, so she's always lived her life as a human. And the genie that she meets, his name's Dara, and he is a pure blood Deva. He's kind of been resurrected after some years of not being present, let's call it. So the world changed a little bit, and he definitely has a lot of prejudices, as he's actually part of Deva, which is really heavily prejudiced against mixed blood people. They really like despise that, and they think that's gross, and they're very against it. They want to subjugate the half-bloods and all that kind of thing. But he's a sympathetic character that we really grow to like, I think. But it's a very complicated relationship we have there, because when you read from Ali's perspective, you think, well, this guy's got it right. This is not okay to have like subjugated people, everyone should be equal. But then this other main character is a completely different worldview, and you kind of understand both. Well, you don't understand both, but you sympathize with both characters. That I think was so masterfully done. It's not really pure like evil and pure good, because sometimes I feel like the main character is fighting for good, so we know it's a good cause. But what if one of the three main characters believes in like the subjugation, but we like him, like he's a good person overall, he just has a lot of prejudices. So that's really interesting. And again, that creates just this completely like separate and kind of removed point of view, because she wasn't brought up in this kind of climate, so to her it's all very new, but she can provide us with a little bit more of a nuanced and removed perspective. And then we have Ali, which is also a really interesting character. I feel like when I'm reading him from his point of view, I really like him, and then when I'm reading him from other people's point of view, I don't like him. So it's a bit, it's so complex, honestly. The intricacy and the understanding the author has for the characters, I think it's absolutely brilliant. I feel like I know them so well. Like I said, plot is interesting. I'm really interested in what's happening. The relationship's good. I'm just really curious when it's going, and we're only halfway through. Definitely had more talking points, but I didn't write them down because I assumed I would remember. You know what they say? Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. It's getting harder and harder to like the Jin. Before I was like, he's really nice, but he believes some weird stuff, and now he believes some weird stuff and he's doing some weird stuff. Like usually I'm like, I can get on board with some questionable things, but I don't know how I feel about this. Can he still even be a love interest? I can only really accept him continuing to be the love interest if he does some like serious soul searching. Like I'm saying, like a serious soul searching, owns up to everything. Like what is he doing? What a prick. I don't know. I'm 63% through. It's just, these characters are so complex, man. Like they're so complex. Their motivations just make so much sense, and they're infuriating and amazing at the same time, and you're just there like, who am I even supposed to like? I don't know who I'm supposed to like. Why are you making it so difficult? Making me think. This book's making me think. It doesn't tell me who I'm supposed to like and what I'm supposed to believe. Like, I mean, all this all to say that it's amazing. I mean, a book that actually makes you make that decision for yourself so far. It's just not predictable. I think that's what it is. It's not predictable. I don't know. Normally it's like 1 + 1 = 2. That's the books. That's it. But this one's like, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna do what? I feel like these characters could just make decisions that just throw me off. Like, what is even happening? It's so much happening. I'm like, we're at the climax of the book and there's still an hour and a half left, and I just don't know. How can a book be this good? Alright, I finished City of Brass just now and it was really good. I'm giving it 5 stars. My favorite parts was the complex politics, characters, the really complex world. I think that the key word of the day for City of Brass is complex. Everything is intricate, everything's thought through, everything is worked for, everything's paid off. It's just really good. I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to continue this series. I understand why everyone really loves this book. So that means that we can watch next video. We only have 13% of battery left, so let's hope this works. So I'm clicking 4 5 stars.
Welcome to prompt 2. So I'm going to show you a meme and you just pick a book that gives you the vibe of that meme. I'm back!
And I just opened my app and then the deal with the Elf King came out today. My pre-order just came out. I was like, but no, we're going to be sticking to the prompt. So we are sticking to the whole sequel thing. I need something quick though because this took way too long. We're already on day 6. Oh, I was going to read The Hunter and the Mage, but that's like nearly 600 pages. No, 500. It's 495. What about Restless Slumber? 452. Why is every book so long? Alright, after flop it in a million times, I decided to stick to The Hunter and the Mage, which is the second book in the Raven and Dove series. The reason is, the first book was 512 pages and I read it in 2 days. So this one's actually shorter. So hopefully this one will hopefully this one will take me long. Hello, I just finished The Hunter and the Mage and I didn't update you even once. So I'm the worst, but this book, I was just like trying to get through it so bad because I wanted to at least read one more for this vlog. Let's talk about it a little. The Hunter and the Mage in the second book in the this Raven and the Dove series, or like whatever the series is called, but the first book is the Raven and the Dove, and it's a Tristan and Isolde retelling, but set in like a country in the sky where everyone has wings and there's like different kingdoms, etc, etc. If you don't know, Tristan and Isolde basic story is there was like a Welsh Irish king. There was this tournament to like win the hand of the princess, but he doesn't have his right hand, so he couldn't participate. So he asked his like nephew or a brother or something to participate instead, and he won. And the thing is that Tristan's this nephew that was fighting for Isolde's hand, which Isolde is the princess. But the thing is, they met like a while ago when he was like shipwrecked or something, and she saved him and like nursed him back to health, and they fell in love. And then she didn't know that he wasn't fighting for her hand, but he was fighting for his brother's hand. So it's basically like a doomed love story. So they're in love with each other, but she's like engaged to his uncle or his brother or his nephew or whatever. Yeah, it's basically a very tragic love story. So this one's this basically, but it's set in an avian kingdom where everyone is bonded with a different bird. So they have like different wings, and the main character is a dove, so she was bonded with a dove, and her name's Liana, and the main male character's name is Rafa, and he was bonded with a raven, so he's the raven, she's the dove. The first book I really liked, and this one, it was long, it was really long, like it's 500 pages, and honestly the two main characters do nothing. They do nothing the whole book, they just do nothing. It was kind of hilarious actually, like the lack of plot and lack of things for them to do. I would say there's like maybe 4 main characters, but we hear from 6 characters' point of view. 2 of them actually had a semi-interesting story, then the 2 main characters basically did absolutely nothing the whole book. Their chapters were like almost non-existent except for the last little bit. And then the 2 other characters, one we heard from twice, and the other one we heard from twice or 3 times. So really unnecessary, and I don't know, I wish there was a bit more editing in this book just to make it flow a bit better. I don't know, it just felt so long. It wasn't bad by any means, like I really enjoyed the ending, but it's not like a favorite series. Anyway, but it is time for us to find out our next prompt, and it's a new question. Did you guess where it was going? Huh. No, the last bit I was actually really surprised, but you know what? I think I didn't know what was going on because I didn't know where it was going because there was nothing happening for 90% of the book, so it was hard to guess. But no, that's not fair. There was definitely hints. I could have figured that out, but I didn't. So that's on me actually. You know what? Yes, I didn't see where it was going. No.
You are smashing this. Oh my god. So far, you have got the most positive response out of all of the paths, and honestly, I'm kind of jealous. My third prompt for you is a book that feels like Marvel. Now, you could interpret this as the...
I was so hoping you wouldn't guess this one. I knew this was a prompt, and I didn't want to get it. So I was thinking for this, Renegades would be perfect by Marissa Meyer. If you don't know, Renegades is kind of like a superhero story basically, but it's 556 pages long. I only have 3 days. Why is every book so bloody long? Oh, anyway, The Hunter and the Dove, I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Got a bit distracted, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a 3-star. It was fine, but not mind-blowing. What book do I have? It needs to be like Marvel. Oh, I really want to read some smut, but I don't know how I could fit smut into Marvel. Don't think I could do that. Even I am not that talented. Kindles are my best friend, is my Kindle, and that is kind of sad. Okay, please just give me one. That's not 500 pages long. Just a short one. I don't want to read a book that I'm like, I really don't want to read, because that's just a waste of time. Alright, I think we found the winner! So basically, I remember seeing a tweet on Meg's Twitter, basically asking how she can fit the Empress of Salt and Fortune into the Marvel prompt, and that's how I knew there was a Marvel prompt. And I just went to the answers. It has Civil War, so it could be Captain America Civil War. Someone said, this is so loose, but one of the upcoming Marvel movies is Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, and it's the first Marvel movie to feature an Asian lead. Any way to fit that? So this one is an Asian-inspired, or like just Asian mythology-inspired book. So I think that felt perfectly. Seems like it counts. So thank you so much for Meg and her tweets. And we're going to be reading this book that I don't know what it's about, but it's 112 pages. And I wanted to read it for a while because it looks really cool. It's a short story. With the heart of an Atwood tale and the visuals of a classic Asian period drama, The Empress of Salt and Fortune is a tightly and lushly written narrative about empire, storytelling, and the anger of women. A young royal from the far north is sent south for a political marriage. Alone and somewhat relieved, she has only her servants on her side. This evocative debut chronicles her rise to power through the eyes of her handmaiden, at once feminist high fantasy and a thrilling indictment of monarchy. That sounds like a really high concept thing for it to be 112 pages. But you know, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it on Amazon and we're gonna have a grand old time. It's $1.99 on Amazon. We love a bargain. Alright, so I'm about 20% into the Empress of Salt and Fortune. I mean, that's like maybe what, like 20 pages, so I'm not very far into it. But so far I'm really fascinated by the way it's being told. So like I said, it is about an empress and we are hearing the story from her handmaiden's point of view, but it's the way it... We follow like a religious person, what do you call that? Not a monk, but something like a monk. We follow a monk and they are traveling with this bird that talks and they kind of stumble onto this old lady, and this old lady is the handmaiden who's telling the story of when she was young working in the palace and the story of this empress. Yeah, it was a bit confusing at first, but it's like in a good way. I mean, it's a very short story, so you have to tell it quite uniquely, I think, and you have to be very like sparse with your words. So I assume it's gonna be more about the feel and the themes rather than like very detailed plot of what she was doing every moment. But so far, really intrigued. All the characters, I mean, you don't really get that good a feel for them. It's a decent feel for them considering how short it is. So I'm fascinated. I'm curious where it's going. And what I like most about it is how quickly I'm reading it. Alright, I have finished The Empress of Salt and Fortune. And I really enjoyed it. So I sorry I didn't really check in, but that book is 100 pages long. Like, there's not that much to check in about. Alright, so like I said, I really like the way it was told. I think it just had this truly magical feeling about it that just made you feel transported. And because the cleric's the one who's getting the story, you feel like you're there with him kind of thing. And you feel like you're also getting a story from this handmaiden who loved her empress so much. And all the characters felt very real. I mean, we only really get a good time page for the cleric, but they're not like really a main focus of the story. And then you also hear a lot from the handmaiden and the empress herself. So those are the characters that you really get a good feel for because they're there quite a lot. But even other characters that were there only for a chapter, I feel like they were very well characterized and I really knew them even though they were there for like 5 pages and the descriptions about them were like 2 lines. You really feel it, and just overall I'm so impressed by the ability of the author to take this story, tell it in 100 pages and make it feel real, make it feel really just so magical and vivid, and made it feel like a coherent story. I was a bit confused at moments, but I feel like then they kind of explained it like you're supposed to discover the story as you're going. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to read the sequel. I think this is more of an anthology, as in like, I think it's going to be Claire going around and getting the stories, but it's not all going to be about this empress or this handmaiden. Overall, it was really beautiful. It was a story about friendship and love, and it had like a queer character in it, which took me by surprise because I was like, intense. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, but that means that we can get the last prompt. So it's Tuesday today and I want to post this vlog on Thursday. My internet's terrible, so it takes about 10 hours to upload a video. We're gonna see what I decide to do. So I think we're gonna be finishing the vlog tomorrow on Wednesday, so that means we still have 24 hours to read something. So if it's a short story, I feel like I can do it. Did I like the main character? Yes, no, kinda, didn't finish. You know what? I liked all the characters. I liked both Handmaiden and the Empress and the Cleric, so yes, I liked them.
You are just having the best luck this readathon. Your next prompt is up. You could read a book set up a mountain. You could read a book from up on your highest shelf. You could read a book from an author you look up to.
Up, up, up. Hello! So for the up prompt, I decided to go with The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. So I'm not sure if this is her first ever book period or her first book in the Poirot series. The one of her most famous detective, whose name I don't know how to say properly. But yeah, this is the first book that launched that series. Maybe her career, again, not sure. And I chose it because Emma said that it could be someone you look up to. I mean, if you would ask me, do I look up to Agatha Christie? Probably I said, I guess not. But I needed to fill a prompt and I wanted to read a mystery. No, but all seriousness, I think Agatha Christie is an amazing writer, and I think I do look up to her in the sense that she's one of the first ever women to make it into the crime genre, and she's just such a prominent name in the thriller mystery genre, and it's one of my favorite genres. So it's definitely something that I'm really admiring, and how she did it in times that it was so much harder for women to be recognized as writers. And I definitely think she changed the genre forever. I mean, when you think like closed mystery or like a very specific type of mystery, you think Agatha Christie, and she's just a really, really, really amazing lady. So I do look up to her in a sense. So that's why I decided to go with this one. It had nothing to do with the fact that it's 121 pages, although my Apple book says like 300 pages, but you know what, it's fine. So I'm actually 40% into it, so I can tell you a little bit about it. So like I said, it's the first ever case of Hercules Poirot. Oh, I don't know how to say the name.
My name is Hercule Poirot, and I'm probably the greatest detective in the world.
Anyway, that guy. So we actually follow a young soldier who's coming back from war, and he meets his friend John Cavendish. And John Cavendish, they knew each other when they were children, and he lives in this mansion called Styles. And basically when he was really young, his father remarried. And then once he died, he gave all of his possessions to his wife, which is the stepmother of John Cavendish. John has another brother, he lives with his wife as well and some other people, and recently his stepmother, who is always kind of treated like a mother because she's been with them for so long, she remarried, and everyone thinks this guy is an absolute just the worst. John invites our main character to join him in his house, just kind of chill there for a bit, I guess, because he has nothing to do after the war. And one day the stepmother, which is like the matriarch of the whole family, gets poisoned, and they just find her dead, and they're trying to figure out what happened. It's, you know, one of those like close circle, we only have so many people that could have done it, and we're going through it, and Poirot is supposed to be this amazing detective that really thinks outside the box. So far, I'm really, like, the crime kind of just happened, so I'm enjoying it. I think it's an interesting choice to have the narrator not be Poirot, but to be someone else, and like kind of an outsider to the family, so we know he didn't do it because he has literally nothing to gain from the murder of the lady, and then everyone else kind of does, you know, one of those. So I think that was an interesting choice. I don't really know how she does it for her other novels from this series, because I read and there were none, and that was from a perspective of a person quite heavily involved. Yeah, so I'm not sure how all the other stories are told, if it's always some like a third party or if it's by Poirot, because it'll always be a different person as well. So yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely interested in continuing. I think this one's not like one of her best. I just think that the general opinion is that this is not her best work, but also it's her first book, so you know, that's good. It's good that she had growth, because if your first one's your best one, then that's a bit depressing. Anyway, I'll update you when I'm actually done or almost finished with the book. Alright, it's kind of out of focus, but whatever. Okay, I finished Mysterious Affair at Styles, and it was a really good mystery. I think It didn't exactly blow my mind, but it was quite enjoyable. I did not expect what happened. I was surprised. I did not figure out the murderer. I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere, but at the same time, it all made sense in the end. So it was good. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that was my new favorite murder mystery, but it was definitely a good one. And I want to now make my way through all of the Poirot, whatever you say, novels. So that's really cool. And I thought it'd be fun to find out what the last prompt was, although we are not going to be doing it because it's Thursday morning and I want to post this video soon. But it'd be fun to find out. So let's bring up the last prompt. Alright, so this is about the setting. Did I enjoy the setting? Kinda. I feel like it could have been done a bit better. I really like mysteries like this where it's just like all in one place and it's kind of a closed one because we don't know who did it. But I feel like it could have like been done a bit better. I definitely didn't get the vibe of this mansion very well. I feel like it was all a little bit lackluster in that like the mansion didn't become a character like sometimes it does in mysteries. So it was fine, but it wasn't amazing.
The viewers on my channel really know that I like swords and I like weapons and I love how sharp a blade can be. And so your very next prompt is to read a book with a weapon.
I probably would have read some kind of fantasy for this, but I don't have the time and I don't have the capability. Really what tripped me up this whole thing was the first book because it took me so long. It's not the book's fault. I absolutely loved City of Brass. I would highly recommend it, but it did trip me up because I just had so much going on in my life, so I feel like that kind of postponed everything, and that took me 6 days by itself, and then I read all the other books in like the following 5. So, you know, it's fine. We read 4 books. We had so much fun. I mean, honestly, this was such a great readathon. I read City of Brass, which was a new favorite. I read Empress of Salt and Fortune, which again I really liked. I read Hunter and the Mage, which was alright. And I read The Mysterious Affair, which it fulfilled my need for a mystery, so it did its job, and I'm really happy with that. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to the host, Meg, Tamsin, and Emma, so much for organizing this. I think it's such an amazing idea. I would love to be a part of it next year as well, and hopefully in next year we can actually hit 5 prompts. Yeah, I had so much fun. Let me know if you took part. How many books did you read? Did you fail? Did you not fail like I did? Did you enjoy the books? I mean, apparently I had like one of the best routes up till the last point where I said kinda. But yeah, that's it from me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could comment, like, subscribe. Apparently only 40% of you watching are subscribed, so I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!